that will link those prims together, and you'll see that that last prim, or the root prim, has now changed color, and it's going to be yellow, and the rest of the prims will be blue highlighted. If you're going to use invisible prims, that's fine. They can be part of the link set. If you want to see invisible prims, use Control Alt and T to toggle that highlight off so that you can see prims that are invisible. It's not a good idea when you're texturing to have alpha textures on alpha textures, because they'll bleed through each other. You'll notice this when you go up into the sky and you fly through clouds. If you have alpha textures on your aircraft, they're going to appear to be transparent as you're going through the clouds, because the clouds are nothing more than prims that are alpha textures, and they'll bleed through, and so you'll get invisible parts on your aircraft. Where a lot of people will make mistakes is on propeller discs that are alpha, and then they'll put a texture behind that that's alpha, and it'll bleed through. It'll appear to be transparent through the whole aircraft. I mean, you'll be able to see other parts of the plane. So you need to make sure to back up your alpha texture. Make sure that whatever's behind it is not an alpha texture also. Otherwise, you're just not going to like the results. And there are a number of builders that use alpha textures because there are some advantages to that. If you're creating a wheel or a landing gear and you're not using Sculpties, then it'll be a little bit easier to take away all the parts that's not a landing gear, and you're left with something that's alpha, and it looks like a landing gear, but it's going to be flat. Yeah, just you know, I got my friends list is so long right now, and I'm not refusing to be your friend, because I am, but every time somebody pops on the screen, then I get, you know, if I'm working on something, it distracts me. But, you know, send me a note card, because my IMs get capped a lot, and I'll get to it as quickly as I can when I come back online. Note cards work the best for me, and I always work them in the order that I receive them. But I'd be happy if I'm online. I will stop what I'm doing. If I don't respond immediately, it's because I'm busy. I don't ever put myself on busy mode. So I'll always hear you. I may not get back to you immediately. I may be working with someone else, but I will get back to you.
So what is your next build, by the way?
My next build, well, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I've pretty much converted over to Sculpties. I still use normal prims where I have to. And I'm going to do a demonstration next week on Sculpt Studio. So if you've been thinking about buying that product, show up next Sunday at about this time, and I'll go ahead and demonstrate Sculpt Studio. If you're already using it, then that may bore you, but it's worthwhile to come, and also at 5 o'clock every Sunday they have an open discussion. If you join Sweet Sculpt's group, then you'll get all the information on where to go. Another program which I'm familiar with but I haven't used in Second Life is a program called Maya, and I just got that program and I have to download it into my computer. But it's another great program for doing Sculpties, and it's the one that Eon uses on his aircraft, and allows you to get smoother sculpts in different shapes. Well, depending on how you use it, keep in mind that Maya doesn't require you to use all of its features. It's like AutoCAD. I used to teach AutoCAD. I'm not sure that it's a cakewalk, but because you do have to learn commands, but it's learnable. Your learning curve always goes up in the air. when you learn anything new. AutoCAD is not an easy program, and Autodesk makes Maya. But if you have some reasonable experience, then oh, Cakewalk is a program. Okay. I wasn't even aware of that one. Thank you. But yeah, if you have some reasonable skills and you're not afraid to learn, then all of these things can be used. If you're not using Sculpties to create your products, then you're not going to be happy, because almost everybody is. Let's see if I can show you what I'm working on here. I've got a raw version of my jetpack. I'm making a jetpack, which will be something a little bit different for me. And it's very detailed, all done with Sculpties. Now that's going to appear to be little blobs to you here till it reses in, and it will res in shortly. Make sure you have your LOD volume properties set nice, or set properly. You can do that under your advanced menu where it says debug settings. When you open that debug settings up, if you click on the little arrow and then go down to where it says render LOD volume, let me find that for render volume LOD factor. Click on that and then put that setting up around 6, and it'll make your Sculpties look a lot better. Now this has not been textured yet. Now keep in mind, Sculpties are a little harder to texture, because when you create, and this is even though it looks very complicated, it's only basically 15 prims, or in this case 16 counting the pose ball. And so you know, each prim is only going to take one texture, so it's a little bit more complicated texturing Sculpties than it is to texture a normal prim, because you have to consider all faces.
Hey, are you still thinking of doing the Smith mini biplane?
Well, it's in my mindset. It's to be honest with you, that airplane is nice, but it's not something they get a lot of requests for. But yeah, it's out there, and now that I'm much more proficient at making Sculpties, that airplane would be easier.
Another one would be kind of interesting for you to do is like do a 450 Stearman.
Yeah, QB Terra has a Stearman out already that's pretty good. I tend to not want to build the same aircraft that everybody else is building. I like to build something that is not out there. The V-25 was an exception to that, but there really wasn't one out there that looked and flew like a B-25. They were all kind of really not shaped properly, and not to criticize the other builders, but it just wasn't what I liked and what I expected, so I would never have bought one. But in the case of my B-25, it's pretty much dead on. The instrument panel matches the real one, and the sounds are real, and the aircraft is sculpted, and you know, it looks pretty good. I'm very happy and proud of that project. I've had a lot of help. Bobcat helps me, of course, with things, as well as managing Avia for us. We do have some, this is a little plug for Avia, but you know, we're non-profit here, and everybody that's paying into the Sims